So let's go back to our sky sphere. Early on we set it's connected to directional light, which is fine, but we're saying the color is determined by the sun position, meaning the editor is calculating values and saying this is what the sky's color should be. Sky's color should be like based on where the sun is located. But maybe we don't want that. We want to have more fine tuning of the color of the sky. So let's turn that off. And instantly you see a big change. And this will change our light bloom settings as well. A couple of main settings: you have your zenith color, horizon color, cloud color, and overall color. Zenith color is basically the topmost point of the sky, basically the zenith, because zenith means uppermost point, if I recall correctly. So the zenith is very blue. And then you can have the horizon color, which is kind of your midpoint. So let's play with some of those colors right now. Hit 2 to set up where we're building a composition. Hit game mode so I can just see the lighting and not all the game actors. And let's mess with the zenith color. Let's bring it down. Oh, cancel. Let's start with the horizon color. So let's bring it more towards yellow orangish. So the hex value I'll have on screen, and then we can also mess with the cloud color, but we'll come back to that later. Let's look at the overall color. We can bring this to so just if you fully drag it, you'll see when it's super saturated how it affects the scene. So this is the overall color of the sky. So like that, we're really punching the orangeness of the sky. But we don't want that. We want to make things feel a little more interesting. So that color looks good, but it wouldn't make sense because the sun wouldn't be that high with such an orange tint in the sky. I guess that rhymes. But you know what I'm trying to say. Like, naturally it doesn't make sense. If the sun is so high, why is the lighting like that? Maybe this is a science fiction theme. It probably works, but let's try to keep some logic in here. So I think that sky color is too saturated for the position that our sun is at. So I think that looks a bit better. We have some blue still there and a stronger orange punch in our sky. And this is the overall color. We can bring down the saturation a bit, or the value, and the hex color of the overall color will be on the screen. We can change the brightness of the sun itself. In the sky, it's set to 75. Crank that up to, let's 85. Cloud opacity is set to 1 into 2. And you see there's a lot more clouds in the sky. Let's even make that 5. You get a lot of clouds. So you can play with what feels right for you. That kind of looks cool to me as well. Let's bring it down to, let's say, 2. Even let's say punch up 2.5 on the cloud opacity. The cloud speed is how fast they move. So if I put it to 5 and turn real time on, you can see the clouds are moving quite fast. But let's turn real time off. Control R. And now let's play with the color of our clouds. So right now they're set to white. Let's play with the settings. So the thing I like to do is like oversaturate it so I'd see what's changing. So at oversaturation, the clouds are very blood red. Not what I want. Let's oversaturate it the opposite direction. So it's kind of a light blue tint to the clouds, and the hex color for that will be on screen. And finally, let's mess with the zenith color. So let's crank the value up. And that value is on the screen of the hex color that I'm using for the zenith color. So feel free to pause and type in the values that were on the screen for each of the colors of the directional light, skylight, zenith color, horizon color, cloud color, and overall color. So right now that looks pretty cool, and things will change along the way, but for now I think it's looking quite interesting. You can keep tweaking things, which I keep doing all the time. So maybe you want the light beams like that, or like that. But anytime you change the direction of your light, even though we've overridden the colors ourselves, always go back to your sky sphere and hit refresh material so that the sun actor is in the right place. Because if I change my lighting here, the sun kind of feels offset from where the light is coming from. So go back to my sky sphere, refresh material. But you get the idea. Every time you want to do it, keep refreshing your material to where you want the sun to be coming from. Alright, so that's where I've left off. I did, again, some tweaking, which I always do. It's a habit of mine. But I think this looks good. You can change the direction to feel what looks good for you based on those colors. And if you don't like those colors, just crank things up and down and see what works for you. But if you're following along, this is where you should closely be. I changed my direction of my sun a little bit. Not a big deal.